by a third. Jaguar sales rose as well by just over 2%. But there wasn't such good news for the makers of James Bond's favourite car. Aston Martin sales dropped.
The Land Rover production line in Solihull is now working 24 hours a day to cope with demand. Here's our business correspondent, Peter Plisner.
They just can't build them fast enough. Growth at home and abroad has left Land Rover's Solihull plant busier than ever, and the workforce are both pleased and proud at the company's latest success.
It's quite a good thing for the people to hear on the production line and good for the local economy as well.
3-4 years ago, when it was all in a deep recession, who would have thought where we are now?
Last year, Land Rover sold more than 48,600 vehicles, a rise of 29.2% on the previous year. But stablemate Jaguar didn't fare so well, only selling 14,000 cars, up 2.4%. But JLR bosses don't seem unduly worried about Jaguar's lacklustre performance.
We benefited on the XF car with the new diesel engine last year. We've just introduced the sports brakes, that's the estate version of it. The F-Type is coming, and we continue to invest in products, and we'll see some significant growth of Jaguar all over the world in 2013.
Land Rover's success has been put down to strong sales of the new Evoque model, which is built at Halewood on Merseyside.
We've seen a general growth in the segment that we would term dual purpose. So this is a car that consumers can buy and which they can use for a variety of purposes. Perhaps it's a little bit more flexible than some of the traditional models that are out there, and that seems to work very well.
And increasing sales means the need for more vehicles. This production line at Solihull is active 24 hours a day, and it has been since the middle of last year. It also produces 3 different models on the same line, something that's almost unheard of in the industry. Solihull's plant director admits that producing 3 models hasn't been easy.
I mean, it presented some challenges in terms of setting the facilities up to line feed that many different products. But once it's set up, as we did last year, it's organised in a very standardised way, and for each of the guys building the vehicle, it's a very standard quality-driven process.
Elsewhere in the region, Malvern-based carmaker Morgan saw orders rise 50%, but at Warwickshire-based Aston Martin, sales fell around 9%.
And Peter joins us now from inside the Land Rover factory at Solihull. So, Peter, is what's good for JLR also good for the region's economy as a whole?
Well, it certainly is, Nick. Thousands of parts go into the 3 models that are made on this production line, and many of those parts are sourced locally. Workers have just gone on their lunch break, but this is one of the all-new Range Rovers, and that's provided another boost for the regional supply chain. With me from the Manufacturing Advisory Service is Rachel Eade. Rachel, first tell me, what do you make of these figures today?
That Jaguar Land Rover across their brands achieved 25% of market sale is fantastic news. And for the supply chain, that gives the confidence for them to continue to invest in new plants, new equipment, and particularly important, new staff.
And what impact will that have on the local supply chain? We've heard that thousands of parts are going into the vehicles made here. Many
thousands of parts go into each vehicle. The majority of those come from the UK and predominantly within the West Midlands. So the more parts, the more jobs.
But obviously, does it give confidence to the local supply chain? Because obviously they need to invest to make parts for Jaguar Land Rover and other companies. How much confidence does it give them when a company like this is doing so well?
Good news, and I think the repeated good news that Jaguar Land Rover issue does give confidence, and more importantly, it gives confidence to the banking system that Jaguar Land Rovers are serious about their growth and are putting real effort into new models and developments.
But can the growth continue? It is phenomenal, but some would say, you know, will the bubble burst?
It may do at some point, but I think in the UK, sales are static, but the important sales are the export ones that seem to be growing unending.
And do you think we'll see more investment here briefly?
In Jaguar Land Rover plant, definitely. There's more investment planned across all the UK sites.
Many thanks, Rachel. Well, one other notable example of sales going up is MG at Longbridge. Their sales did go up last year, although they do only make a small number of cars.
Peter, thank you.
Coming up later in the programme, can you help